Why does history have to be comfortable?
Kids' lives are at stake.
It changed our whole school. Well, let's lean into what that particular educator is doing.
Like, this is their future.
What I wish, because I think about this often, just even with us, I would wish.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GYTO's The Flip Side podcast, where we break down and challenge different hot topics in education. As you know, if you've been joining us in season 3, we're shaking things up a little bit, doing them a little bit differently, and we're doing something called Ask Teach on Anything, usually featuring one of our special guests or presenters, so you get all of your questions answered. Now, if you've been following this series, you know we are here in California following one of our Get Your Teach On mini conferences, and so this is an opportunity for us to be able to feature some of our incredible presenters who brought the heat and brought the content to so many amazing educators today. So we have another special guest for this episode, but no stranger to the Flip Side couch. I think she's been on 3 or 4 episodes before. So welcome the amazing Lanesha Tabb back to the Flip Side, everybody.
What's up? Happy to be here.
I feel like they don't need an intro of you since you've been, but just in case they're listening for the first time, go ahead and tell them all things about Lanesha.
Yeah. So I'm Lanesha. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. This is my 19th year in education.
Whoop, whoop.
I know, getting up there.
Me too,
A
girl.
little concerning, actually. Love all things literacy, reading, writing. I'm an author, and I've been with Get Your Teach On for what, like 8 years now? That's crazy.
been a
It's
minute.
crazy.
Yeah.
And shout out author. Like, I don't know when you're listening to this specific episode, but she just recently launched her newest book.
My newest
It
book.
looks cute
Which
as poot.
Thank you.
I've never been so excited for a book to release
Oh.
because Lanesha has been telling me about this gingerbread diva
Yes.
for years now, and
Years,
she's
literally.
finally out.
Can just
They can.
exhale.
By the time this episode comes out, they'll be able to, because the pre-order has launched.
The
but when
pre-order's
is
live.
the order?
It'll go live November 4th.
Oh,
It'll-
yeah.
It'll
Okay.
start shipping. So.
Well, just in case, depending on when you're listening to this episode, if it's
That's
before
right.
November 4th, or if we said 4th,
Yep. November
pre-order it. If not, order it now,
Yes.
because it's so, the illustrations, I can't.
My illustrator.
She has
the
space
best.
buns.
Yes.
Like, she has space buns, and it is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So, also, we're just big fans of Lanesha and her stories. Alpert is the hero of my world. Like, we always say that Alpert needs his own
Mascot.
Yeah.
mascot I Get Your Teach On.
Yeah.
It's going to happen one day.
One
and
of
if you're an
these days.
Alpert fan, you're like, it must happen. I know they feel the same way. So,
Yeah.
anyways, you'll have to check out her books. My son does not even love or enjoy reading. I'm just honest about yet.
Yeah.
But Alpert is like it for him. I think he would read those books over and over and over.
We love it.
Okay, so we're going to dive in and talk about different topics, different
Okay.
questions that listeners or attendees have asked specifically for
Yep.
you,
Oh,
so that
wow.
you can answer all of their burning questions. But before we do that, we're going to warm it up a little bit.
Okay.
And we're just going to have a quick rapid fire question to get just a little bit of fun information about Lanesha.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So Wade, launch us off.
Okay, first one. Dream dinner guest. Who would be your dream dinner guest?
That would be Beyonce.
Beyonce.
I knew it. I was going to say
Okay,
it. I
besides
knew it.
Beyonce.
Besides Beyonce.
Yeah, now you got to think.
What?
Yeah.
There
dream
is
dinner
no
guest.
one.
I
Besides
feel like a Michelle
Beyonce.
Obama would be pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Or you can bring someone back from the dead too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what? Besides Jesus.
I mean, obviously, that would be really, really great.
Ew, I hate these rapid fire questions. I can never think of anything. And then I'm going to leave here, go to my room and be like,
That's who I would have
said.
said.
Well, we'll go with
counts.
Beyonce because
Cute.
counts.
I mean, how many times have you gone to the concert?
a lot. I think I've been to like 6 of them.
A lot.
Well,
Not enough, but a lot.
I think she should count because she's literally, if
she counts.
she's not, like, there's no other artist or actor that I would like completely lose
What
it
is
over
it?
her.
What is it about Beyonce for you?
Oh, she's excellent. Everything about her.
Just
she moves
superior.
in absolute excellence. The way that she is so just creative and the way that she moves is just everything to me.
What if
Love
they
it.
had a Destiny's Child reunion?
Oh,
What would you
man,
do?
I
Wait,
would
were
sell
you at
everything.
the concert that she brought?
Absolutely not. I was
Oh
the
my
one
gosh.
grieving the next morning because none of that happened. I was in Chicago and I did Atlanta, and we didn't
Yep.
get any of the special perks. So I'm a little mad at her about that.
Right.
Just letting you know.
She's got a little bit. So Beyonce, if you're
But I
listening,
love you.
by the way, go ahead. You know, if you can rectify the situation, that would
Please.
make just take you up a notch in
go.
her world. Okay, favorite Starbucks order.
Oh, that's easy. That's going to be an iced Americano with sugar-free vanilla
Mhm.
and 2 Splenda.
We're the same.
Shut up.
Yep.
about Splenda. I don't hear it.
Oh, yep, that's what we get. Yeah.
What you don't know about Lanesha is that most of the time she doesn't even get a Starbucks order because she brings her own cup.
I do.
She brings her own protein
Yeah.
shake, and she brings her own coffee. And she mixes. She's like a barista in the
Literally,
hotel lobby.
literally, I just had it this morning. May have one
We
later.
all travel so much together. We just know each other so well at this point. Okay, next.
All right, next one. Most used teacher supply.
Index cards. I love them.
What's one of your favorite things to use those for?
Oh gosh, so I am a low frills kind of girl. I kind of always have been.
What I love about you.
And and index cards are just, they're always around. And I feel like forever when I was teaching, all the supplies would come in and there'd be like a crate of index cards, and I'd be like, what am I about to do with them? There's just so many of them. And so I love games with them. I try to come up with as many variations as I can with index cards. And this year at nationals, I was like, I'm going to use one hard good for the session. So like what we're going to do in the session, and I'm going to see how many different ways I can come up with activities or hands-on games and things with index cards.
That's
and I
amazing.
came up with
I
like,
love
yeah,
that.
I came up with
didn't
like
even,
5 or 6 different.
I don't even think I knew that you
That's a
did
great
that.
chat.
Yeah.
That could be like if this were a game show, you have one thing.
Yeah.
What can you do with this
How
one?
many ways can you use it?
Oh,
Yeah. And I loved that. So it was less stress on me, and it was like everybody
Heck
left
yeah.
with a bunch of ideas.
Come on.
for
And
index
I love that
cards.
you said you're a no
No
frills
excuses.
girl, and that's again we've talked about it so many times with every single one of our presenters. We're all so different,
Yeah.
but all results driven, and that's one of the things I was talking to teachers about today.
Yeah.
Here in California was that flashy won't fix broken systems.
Right.
So you've got to get those systems in place before you can start, doing the engagement, doing the practices, and that's what you do so incredibly well. I'm like kindergarten teacher, and those boy,
Yeah.
we talk about management all the time.
Oh yeah.
And the management is just, they
Oh,
know
yeah.
we're a little, we're a little crazy. We got a little crazy about us, and they're not going to push too many,
Make that eye a little big sometimes.
And we're gonna get it together.
and we're going to get it together.
right.
Okay, one last one. This is a little bit different one, so I'm interested to see where you go with this.
Oh boy.
What is like, how people always choose their like word of the year? What is a word that you're loving right now that like resonates maybe about your life or the work that you do, or just like a word?
Execute.
Mm.
I feel like there are just personal and professional things that have been kind of simmering in my life for the past handful of years, and I'm to a point now where I'm just ready to execute. So
Shout out Gingerbread Diva.
I mean, literally. Literally.
Shout out! I walked downstairs this morning at 6 a.m. and she's working out.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Getting it done.
Actually, I was up at 4 a.m.
Oh, well,
But that just
Whenever that was.
hold on.
I don't know.
Don't be too proud because that's just 7 a.m. on East Coast
Right.
time.
Hey,
So,
We're a little off.
It's fine.
We're a
It's
little
fine.
off
Take it.
schedule.
but I was up at
Take it.
4 a.m. So
I told her, I was like, Lanesha, I promise we'll record this podcast quickly so you can get your workout. And
Already
she's like,
got mine done.
I already got it done. I already got it done.
Okay,
I was
you
like,
executed
because I had
that.
to execute.
execution. So she's living it out. Okay. So we're going to shift and now talk about questions. I have 3 different categories.
Okay.
I tried to organize everybody's questions for you.
Did a great job organizing it.
Okay, thank you. On this episode, let's try to stick to the script, okay? Wade likes to go rogue, and he likes to take things
I hate
wherever
a
Wade.
script, man. I
But
hate
that's
a script.
so on brand.
Yeah.
It's so on brand for Wade. Okay.
Silly.
So this first one, we're going to talk about instruction specifically, because again, that's what we call our bread and butter.
Yeah.
This one came from a GYTO attendee.
Okay.
So at a conference, who said, Lanesha, your session, I'm guessing this might have been virtual conference,
Oh,
just
okay.
based on the question.
Okay.
Lanesha, your session on data made me rethink everything. How do I get my team on board without overwhelming them?
So getting your team on board with just the collection of data, I think for me, it was taking the responsibility in a way that wasn't personal, but it was purposeful. When I first started to sort of get into this work at the school that I was at, and we transitioned to collecting data regularly, it was not well received. And I'm not even gonna lie, it wasn't well received by me either. We were all kind of like yapping about it. And it was one of those things where we had to collect data every Friday and turn it into a spreadsheet and all the things. And
Felt like a
we
lot.
hated it. Was a lot.
It was different.
Well, it was embarrassing because the spreadsheet would turn colors based on the scores that you put in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And you could see everybody's scores.
Yep.
And I was just very fortunate to have a really good leader who kind of just like made us do it and dealt with the gripe until we started to see the benefits of it. And we started to see some shining stars in the data. And like once we stopped being haters, then it was like, well, let's lean into what that particular educator is doing. And it changed our whole school.
Yeah.
And it really unified us because you know how schools have districts and like you kind of like quietly kind of compare the
Yep.
data and
Yep.
things like
Yeah.
that. Well, we were at a school that was not one of the higher performing schools, and we started doing this work and collecting data. and we started outperforming the school that normally outperforms us. And it was like, and then all of a sudden we're working better together because that's exciting and that momentum is there. So to go back to her question, it's finding that probably that one person, if it's not going to be a leader, who can kind of like lead the charge and kind of push through even the attitudes, even the people that are pushing back on it, you know, because I think one question we have to ask ourselves is, why are we doing it? Well, we're doing it because we want to see student success. And then you have to weigh what's more important, a teacher's feelings or attitude about being observed or collecting data or whatever it is, or the success of that student.
Right.
You have to weigh which one of those is more important to you. And when you hopefully arrive at the fact that it's the student success that we all care about, then the other things start to quiet down. So
and sometimes I think too, you have to trust the process a little bit. Absolutely. And you have to be open-minded and go with it, because in your situation, what if y'all hadn't trusted that process?
Exactly.
You would have never gotten the results that now you still carry that piece with you into everything that you do in education. And so sometimes you just have to say, you know what? Right now, I might feel some type of way about it. And my feelings are fine and valid, but I am going to, as a member of this team in my school community, I am going to be open-minded. I'm going to give it everything I've got. I am going to follow that protocol, go with my leader wherever they're trying to take me, and see what happens. See what results I get. Because there are so many things that I feel like teachers miss out on just because they don't want to, I don't know how to say it. They want to buck the system because they don't want to do something new or do something different, which we understand there's a lot of trigger points with educators.
Is not easy.
It's
That's
not
why
easy.
people are complacent. Complacency is the easiest thing to do. But then also, I think teachers take things very personally, always. Like we always do, because our personal and professional, they're interwoven together. And so it just, you got to push through, like you said at the beginning, and see where we go. So
that's why I love what you said. Try not to take it personal, make it purposeful.
Correct.
And I remember you saying that at the virtual conference, and I was like, that is good. Like, that is good.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do. It's not easy. And it still stings sometimes. Like, if you're not seeing the results that you want to see. Yeah. It's because you care.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not to say that you don't take like the responsibility for it. So when I say don't take it personal, it's not, because on a level I do take it personal, because if I'm the one in charge of the instruction and my students didn't perform, then that is on me. And I need to make some shifts. And it does hurt, because teaching is personal. It's our personality wrapped up with the content that we're given, and it's on us to deliver in a particular way. And sometimes it lands and sometimes it doesn't. And so, I mean, when you get the data back, that lens of looking at it through, or looking at it through the lens of, okay, this is how they performed, but what do I need to do in order to shift it so that everybody is successful? And that's the hard part.
And I love that you said that, because I think that sometimes as educators, we do need to turn that finger and say, that's on me. We need to normalize saying that's on me without it being a guilt trip or guilt driven. And it's okay, that's on me. What can I change to get a different outcome? Versus doing that same thing for a whole year. And then, I love that you and Naomi, she's been on the podcast too. Kids' lives are at stake. Like, this is their future. This is not a small, minuscule, like, okay, well, if it happens for them,
absolutely,
this is their life that we're talking about. And 1 year can be a game changer, or it can be the year that holds them back for quite some time too.
All right, next question. What is one skill or strategy that you feel like has really moved the needle for your kids in your classroom?
Skill or strategy that has moved the needle?
Moved the needle the most. Like, you
Like,
noticed.
like, man, this is it. This is, come on.
I think when we made the transition, which we're back on data, but there's a difference between collecting data and there's a difference between like tracking.
Using it,
And when we first started getting into tracking at the school that I was at, again, that was a very difficult transition. But the idea of taking data in the moment and making an immediate decision, that is where I saw the most gains in my entire career.
Hot data.
And I almost I had to just send apologies out into the universe, because I'm thinking of all the students that came before, where it really was like, well, I'm going to teach Monday through Thursday and we're going to have a test on Friday. Oh man, half of them didn't get it. And it's like, I could have intervened so many. I didn't know any better. And so that tracking component, which is like, it was confusing to me at first, and then my kids got old enough to have devices, and now to me that's like the best analogy. So if I open up my phone and I want to know where my daughter is, I can open up the Find Me app and I can literally track her. So I know where she is at every moment. And that's literally what instruction became like. It was like, I need to know where each one of these kids are at any moment, and I can tell you where they are and how to get them where they need to go next. And so
That's what every
analogy.
student every time actually means. Like that's what that whole mindset shift really is. It's not just that you're holding them accountable. It's also that you know exactly where they are throughout that learning process, which can be done and can be done pretty simply, but it's the habit. It's the habit that you have to instill. Okay.
Work too.
We're going to switch to culture and curriculum, which I am so glad that somebody actually asked this question. Because when you first came on to get your teach on, one of the biggest things that you focused on was social studies. And, you know, we often see this shift in education where sometimes social studies becomes this big priority. And then sometimes it's a thing that gets left behind and gets put on the back burner. And I know you even talk about that while you still talk a lot about this on your, you know, personal pages and things that you're doing for educators. You're like, sometimes I just miss being able to, you know, talk more about it. So I think that's why this question just like made me smile, because someone asked, how do you teach real history without watering it down, especially when people start to get uncomfortable?
Well, I mean, I think you have to start with the fact that why does history have to be comfortable? I don't like when we give feelings or emotions to history. Like, why are we looking at things that happened in the past and identifying them as good or bad, or, you know, like the feelings that are attached with it, when in reality, it's just what happened. And when it happened, it became a fact. So that is simply what happened.
It is what it is. Yeah.
I don't understand why we have to walk away from every history lesson feeling warm and fuzzy. I think we walk away from history lessons with just always more questions and more wonderings. And we're just trying to really dig in and figure out who are the stakeholders, why did they feel the way that they feel. And so it becomes just a game of getting to the bottom of it versus what are my feelings in connection to the historical account. So that is the piece that I would encourage you to like interrogate, like remove feelings from it and treat it more like a science. Like, this is what happened. So studying those firsthand accounts and original documents as much as you can, and then leaning into the narratives that are often trying to be spun, but like asking questions like, why do you think it was presented in that way? And, you know, well, what benefits, you know, would be given to somebody that would tell a story in this particular way versus another community. So it's just being curious. It's not all about.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I learned from you, honestly, early in those early years of Get Your Teach On, where you were doing a lot of social studies content and history content. We might need to bring some of that back at some point.
I would love to.
But I remember you saying you showed a picture and you just asked a simple question: whose voices are missing from this? And I think that's such a great reflective practice that can be part of a daily conversation to make students more aware of, you know, how did that shift the storyline? How did that shift the narrative based on who's present and whose voices might not be part of the story right here? And that was something simple that I took back with me, that again, you're leaving this conversations up to the students. So you're not pushing a narrative off onto them. You're not telling them what to think.
And I truly think it's because, I mean, social studies is my jam too. But I truly do think too, just going back to what you said, it's factual. And you look at those primary resources, you look at those secondary resources, you teach kids how to form their own opinions and not play that devil's advocate, because kids are super impressionable. Like, you present them the facts and
let them have at
it. And you support them if it's evidence based, and they can form their own opinions and it makes sense. So.
Why can social studies not be in history? Why can it not be one of those things that, okay, I don't have time for that. Okay, we need to, I would love to, but why do you think that's one of the things that need to be prioritized?
I mean, that's a hard question, especially this day and age when so many of the things that are covered in social studies are almost under attack and teachers are scared. So,
because that's real.
It is. And Naomi and I, we've created hundreds of resources that used to be, I mean, we would hear daily from people, oh, we just got this resource and we used it. And now it's crickets because nobody wants to touch it anymore. So that's kind of a difficult question to even answer. But in theory, social studies, I don't even like the name of it because it sounds so, I don't know, so specific. And if you look at social studies, we are talking civics and history and economics and geography and sociology. Those are literally how we live our lives. If you turn the news on tonight, everything that they're going to present on is going to fall under one of those
categories.
Strands. It's going to be a new law that was passed. It's going to be the festival at the park. That's sociology. It's going to be the weather. That's geography. It's going to be every single thing that affects the way we live our lives is social studies. And yet it gets pushed to the back burner and we don't get to teach it.
But we live it.
But we live it every single day.
Yeah.
And that is just wild to me. And it's the context. Our world is made up of social studies and science. That's the content that we need. That's the background knowledge.
I was about to say
vocabulary.
Yep.
This is what we need in order to jump into a novel and read about something that, you know, kids are going to miss because they don't have the contextual knowledge from social studies. They don't have that.
So many times that's where that comprehension piece really, we start to see a deficit. Is they don't have that. Number one, they haven't lived that experience, and that's okay if they haven't lived that experience but to be educated on that, to know that, like, that's one of the top ways to really expand students' vocabulary and a comprehension ability, especially as we start I think all grade levels, but especially as we start progressing into those upper grade levels where comprehension does become, you know, a big piece of that reading practice. So, so anyways, I just love that somebody asked a question about that, because that's been such a big piece of who you are and the shifts that we've made at Get Your Teach On along with you. So, okay. So just a couple more fun personal questions. Let's shift a little bit to the personal side of the practice. Obviously you have so many things. You write books, you present, you do all the things,
doing too much.
Work in schools. How do you stay grounded? How do you stay focused and on kind of what it is that you want to accomplish?
That's a great question. It's become a game of priority, and I've had to get very comfortable with the best that I can do and offer, and let that be okay. And that has not always been the case for me. I've largely been affected by like perfectionism, and, you know, I don't want to ever let anything go until it's the way that it needs to be, or until I understand every single component of it. And sometimes I'm learning, the more I get into this work, that sometimes I just have to kind of like go for it. And sometimes I have to put the project out there. Or, I mean, I've even had situations where I've delivered on, you know, resources that were not completely formed, and then I had to finish it along the way, and like, things like, you know.
I was about to say, I have seen both of you right before a presentation, just on your laptop. Oh, I need to change this slide, and it does, and you don't. And I tell you, like, you do not. It's fine. It looks great. No one notices what you're doing. But it's who you are. Yeah,
I have to.
Yeah, but I want to say that because I've seen both of you taken.
Well, and it's only possible when you truly know your content and you know what you're after. So as long as it's here, then how it comes out, it comes out the way it comes out. And I've had to get comfortable with that. So sometimes things come out and they're not perfect, or I didn't have them, you know, and I've just had to like make peace with that. And that's been the best way for me to like juggle all of the many things that are happening. And then also just moving seasonally. I have to tell myself it's not the season for that right now. I'll come back to that particular thing later. And so
for all the perfectionists out there, that was for you. That was for you. I think a lot of it comes with age. A lot of it comes with more years spent in this work. You know, a lot of it comes with wisdom that we learn along the way, because we realize we can't do it all. So you have to say no.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one of the things that I always respect so much about you. All right, last question.
Last one.
So a lot of teachers are probably listening to this on their way to school, on their way home from school. We don't know what kind of day they had.
Drive safe.
Yep, drive safe. What do you wish is one thing that every teacher understood more right now?
These questions are
Deep.
deep. It is deep.
Like my voice right now, because I'm really struggling with whatever I've got from the dry California weather.
I would love to like wave a magic wand and give teachers the ability to like almost like glimpse into the future at who is in their classroom right now.
That's so cool. Oh, wow.
And I think it would just, it would help with the hard days. And I've had plenty of hard days in my classroom. I mean, some of the toughest kids and situations that are just like heartbreaking or so frustrating. And if I could look at them, and I'm getting old enough to where it's happening. I'm seeing these kids on Facebook and they're like getting married and having kids.
I know, it's wild. It's wild.
But I'm seeing, and I'm like, and they'll message me and like, Miss Tabb, I used to cut up in your class. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And if I could just like, for just 2 seconds, like see the entire class in adult form and then like send them right back down. I just wish that I could.
That would be an amazing superpower for teachers.
You know what else? So on the flip side, what I wish, because I think about this often, just even with us, like colleagues, I would wish like you could wave a magic wand to see like your co-teachers or your fellow colleagues when they were your age and you were all in the same class together. Like, can you imagine like what a classroom of a little Wade, Lanesha, Naomi, Hope, what that would actually chase, what that would look like?
I kind of can't imagine it because our kids are now like I imagine them.
Oh yeah, that is true. No, that is but it's that perspective too, to know like what your colleagues go through, and hey, they were kids once too.
Absolutely.
So I think that's powerful.
Yeah. Well, I know this episode got a little deep, but that's what that was their burning questions for you. So that's where I happen to go. But Lanesha's obviously no stranger to the Flip Side Couch, and I'm sure she'll be back for plenty more episodes. You know the drill. We always end it with catch you on the flip side. Okay. So don't forget there's a brand new episode every single Monday. Listen to it on your way to work, on your way home from work, on your walk for the day, just to get a little teacher inspiration and know that there are people out here who believe in you and believe that you're crushing it. But until next week's episode, we hope you have an amazing week, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.